craftsmanship, dedication, and commitment to the mission. These are the traits of a master shipbuilder. Newport News Shipbuilding's Master Shipbuilder program is steeped in history and tradition, just like the shipyard itself. With 40 or more years of continuous service, Master Shipbuilders have learned to innovate, to lead, and to transform. The shipyard's newest master shipbuilders joined the company in the 1980s. It was a time when synthesizers piped through the radio, while crowds flocked to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and play Nintendo's Donkey Kong. Ronald Reagan served as President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
The Commodore 64 had its debut, and shopping malls were the place to hang out. Bright-eyed shipbuilders began their careers with a historic 2-ship contract for the 5th and 6th Nimitz-class aircraft carriers, USS Abraham Lincoln and USS George Washington. These pioneers implemented modular construction on the USS Theodore Roosevelt and ushered in the shipyard's first computers, with members-only jackets and Swatch watches in place. The newest generation of shipbuilders brought fresh energy to the shipyard, and over the next 4 decades, this energy inspired innovation. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic caused the shipyard to adapt and to find new ways to honor these special individuals.
And I'm honored to introduce our newest inductees, the class of 1980.
Like master shipbuilders, Newport News overcame this challenge. And now, we come together to celebrate the classes of 1980, 81, and 82. Honoring more than 34,000 years of collective service, master shipbuilders share their knowledge with others, uphold the highest of standards, and inspire the next generation of shipbuilders. Thank you, master shipbuilders, and congratulations on this incredible milestone. The class of 1980.
Came in the apprentice school. When I came over here, I really came over to play football and to make some money. And so my first day was first day of football practice. You look back 40 years later, you go, wow, what a blessing and what an opportunity it was.
I never heard of the shipyard before because I had just got out of high school. When I came in, I was working on the corvettes and on Pier 2. Or we called it back then rust busting. You had to get the rust off the surface and prepare it for it to be painted.
When you first come in the shipyard, you know, there's some good-natured teasing, like send you to the tool room to get a bucket of steam or a left-handed screwdriver. They'd get me on 1 or 2 of those things. So it was all good-natured, and those are the kind of things you take away.
My daughter worked here. We almost working side by side. I make sure she do right so she can be here for 40 years too. I more so help the young people. I give them advice. I show them the right way. They like that. So I just take upon myself to help people because somebody helped me when I came in. And my motto is always to them, work the job, don't let the job work you. The meaning behind that is, if you let the job work you, you working harder. If you stand back and look at it, you'll work smarter.
To go out on sea trials with the last several carriers and to see them perform and to see the crew act as one orchestrated effort to launch and recover aircraft, it's just it's an amazing feat. They're really doing a tremendous job and sacrificing for us, so a lot of pride in that.
Once you see them go out and know that the Navy is safe because you was part of it, it does something to you because then when you got your kids and your grandkids, as they come up, you can say, I helped that, I did that, Grandma did that.
The class of 1981.
And I still can't believe that I've been here 40 years, and it's just been a blessing to me. Well, I've been playing football all my life, and I got cut. And then I got the ability to start running track and cross country, and I want to go to Crispin Newport, but I didn't have a job. And then Apprentice school was my ticket.
And after I came out of high school, I went to a college that was in town, and I came back, and after that, I decided that it was time for me really to go to work, right? I kind of played around a little bit. So it was time for me to really get busy, and I ended up applying at the shipyard, and they brought me in as a clerk. And my supervisor at that particular time encouraged me to go to design school because I worked in the design department. And I actually was graduated from the last class of the design training program, which was after 2 years, then they would bring you back and put you on the drawing board. And that's how my career got started.
In the 1981, the career shipyard, we ain't had no cell phone, no snack machine. O'Keefe note that we had an hour lunch.
It was good food, some good food down the avenue. There was a store called Grant's. Yeah, they had the best hot dogs. Yeah, but it was nice. It was booming.
Nathaniel Matthews came to shipyard in 1981. I ain't had no intention of leaving because it blessed me to go through life, and that I learned a lot. I learned a lot about shipbuilding and provide a living for my family.
And now, introducing the newest class of Newport News Shipbuilding's Master Shipbuilders, the class of 1982.
It's really a milestone. I'm really grateful that I was able to reach 40 years.
It was always so far off in the distance. I just wondered if I would ever make it there and feel old.
It feels like the time has flown. It's like when you start in elementary school, first grade, and you say, one of these days I'm going to be a senior in high school. And you think it's going to take forever. And back when I was a child, it seemed like it did take forever. But once you get into the working world, as you've been at a company for 10 years, 15, 20 years, the time just flies. And you look back on it, and it just seems like it was yesterday when you first started.
Well, I'm born here in Hampton, graduated from Bethel High School, been out here all my life, almost 60 years. When I came out of trade school, the shipyard came to the trade school where I was at, and basically threw down applications and said, who wants a job? Picked me up, and I was stunned for about the first month of everything that I saw. I knew a little bit of it from my grandfather that worked here. He was a graduate of Apprentice School in 1923. I was able to hear a lot, see a lot, and listen to my grandmother's stories of the yard. She was a bookkeeper here. My grandmother and grandfather met in East End of Bay 5 machine shop. But I was just in awe of this whole place.
I was working at Shoney's as a salad prepper and a waitress at night. And so I got tired of that, and I told my dad, I said, I want to go to the shipyard. And he said, you're not ready. So he went on and he said, we'll see. I just remember being on Washington Avenue in front of the Arlington Employment Office. And I was saying, wow, look at this big place. I'm going to be here one day, and we filled the paperwork out, went to the clinic. The lady checked you to see whether or not you could do welding. She looked at me and she said, no, you can't do welding. But I couldn't squeeze the bar thing. So I went on and did the janitorial and just been with it ever since.
Mr. Dunn, who interviewed me for Newport News Shipbuilding at Virginia Tech on a recruiting trip, offered me the job. I really was hard to turn it down. Actually, I wanted to be an Air Force pilot. I'll be honest with you. First 6 months I was here, I went to the recruiting station thinking I was going to be a pilot, but when you're 6'6", and they see you walking in the door, they open the book up and the first thing they say, well, I don't know if you would fit in an aircraft. But after finding out I could not make it in the military, I went back to my job and I thought long and hard and I said, hey, not a bad place to work. The money was good at the time. Why not stick it out? 10 years went by, 15 years went by, 20 years went by, and next thing you know, here I am, Master Shipbuilder.
It was different because here in the shipyard, it's another city. It's a city all by itself. Oh, it was really overwhelming because I've never seen anything like this before. You see great big cranes riding up down the track. You see great big holes, you know, you scared. Well, at that time, I had Mr. Richard Banks. He was a makeup foreman then. And he had us cleaning around. He said, just do common cleaning. Just dust things down and stuff like that. And back then, we did light fixtures, which we don't do now. He had me on a ladder, and we was cleaning light fixtures. And I was like, oh my God, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not, but that's what I did. We did light fixtures, and then after that, and I went out there one day, because my mouth would always get me into trouble back then, and sometimes now. And so I got smart with Miss Mary Davis, and she told me, she says, well, we got something for you. They stuck me outside on the portables, and I was fussing. And so the guys came and they said, what you fussing for? We in here, we'll talk to you. So the guys was talking to me. Before I knew it, the guys was doing the cleaning of the bathrooms, and I was kicked back, chilling. So I said, oh yeah, this is my kind of life.
When I hired in, I worked actually in a planning group. We were preparing for the final refueling of the Enterprise, which sits just behind me. Well, at the time, I learned about an Artemis software program that the shipyard had just adopted. It's a management software program that uses resources to schedule various operations. So I mentioned to my bosses, I'm young, I'm out of college, I've had a little computer experience. Give me a shot at trying to adopt what these people were doing on paper and putting it into a computer program. And it actually turned out to be a pretty good move, because computers eventually did play a very big part in the growth of the shipyard.
Supposed to go to machine installation, but I had some ear problems, so they put me in transportation. They gave me a choice, and I picked it. Then I found out later they had locomotives. I've always had a love for trains, and I've always asked for a transfer to come over to the locomotive crew. We had 6 locomotives running at one time. So knowing that I could come over here and be a part of it, be a part of a crew that taught me what to do, was a joy. There was one day in particular that none of the operators showed up. The supervisor said, jump up in the cab, just have at it. And I did, and it was great. And from that point on, I've been an operator. So when I get up there behind them controls, that kid comes out in me. That, yes, everything that I thought of when I was little, I'm doing here now.
Well, every job matters in the shipyard, no matter whether you're out in the shipyard, you're down in the shops, you're on the ships, or you're up in an office. My current position, I've probably done more sitting than I've ever done in my entire shipyard career. I used to spend a lot of time in the nuclear pipe shop. Now I rarely get a chance to even go to the shipyard, let alone go back to see some of my old colleagues down in the pipe shop. But everybody contributes in one way or another. The fact that we are contributing to the current fleet, the active fleet in the Navy, makes me feel very, very good. I mean, we have ships that are assigned all over the world. We have ships that are currently being overhauled here in the shipyard, all Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. But to know that I'm contributing to their operational readiness gives you a very, very good feeling.
It is important to me to know that this company recognizes and gives you recognition for this. I am very grateful. So, yes, the others that are thinking the younger people now don't want to stay as long as me. So I try to talk to them and tell them that there's nothing wrong with being down here and making a career of it. Nothing wrong at all, because you don't have to stay in one place. You can do just about anything that you desire.
It has went by really fast. I didn't think 40 years would get here this fast, but it came. One of my main things for my 40 years of service here, I met my husband, James Harvey, and he was on the train, doing 054 train driver. And I worked from north side to south side, and I would always see him on the train. You know, we waved at each other and stuff like that. And I was saying, one day I might get married. And Lord knows, I didn't know I was gonna marry James Harvey. And through that reunion, we had a son, James. He's in the Riggers, X36. And so we got him in here. And so he's doing well.
Love your mom.
Oh, I'm truly blessed because, you know, I could be gone, you know, wouldn't be here. I could have been anywhere, you know. If my dad hadn't gave me that chance to step out there and give me that chance, you know, I could have been still running up and down the road trying to find myself. So now I feel I done found myself. I'm a doggone good janitor, a good mom, and the best grandma you can get. So I think I did pretty good.
Well, you know, I've really never thought about it until I hit the 40 mark. And then I took a deep look back at all this time. I feel good about it. I feel a certain sense of pride about myself of what I've accomplished, what I've learned, and what I could still do before I retire. That keeps me going. Right now, it keeps me going because I know I'm going to be on one of the locomotives.
Well, it is a job and it becomes a part of your everyday life. You get up every morning, you know the routine, you get into that routine and you stick to that routine. And you think of these folks that you work with as really part of your family.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey. Both of my parents are deceased now. I was still coming in here when my dad was, you know, sick. He was, you know, at my house. I was taking care of him. And I know that you can, you know, make something out of your life here. It's something that you can do. It might not be janitorial, but it's something here for everybody to find a little hole you can go to and get into one of these apartments and you can make yourself shine.
Congratulations to all Master Shipbuilders. Thank you for your dedicated service and for leading the way each and every day.